Hi, hello. What's up? How are you doing? What's new with you? um, what was that? Oh, okay. Hi. Anyway, so I'm here again. It's me again. This is gonna be one of the last times you see me in this place. It's kind of wild. And I was talking to Reem yesterday, and so many things. But one of the things that is sort of making itself known to me or in my life right now is intention. Like, there's what I intended for this chapter, for this place of my life to be. And then there is what happens or what had happened. Now, I was very intentional. I carried a lot of intent. And it's been a year today. It's been a year today. June 6th, 2023 was the day that I moved into this unit. I'm pretty sure. 16th. That's at 6th, didn't I? June 16th, 2023. I'm pretty sure it was June 16th, 2023. Yeah, it was a Friday. Okay. Because I was like, I know it wasn't on a weekend, but the 16th is a Sunday this year. Oh, because it would have been Saturday, but then with the leap day, it bumped it up another day. Okay. I was like very confused. Um, and then it got me thinking to some of the reads, a few reads back, where it came across as like truth. Oh, well, I hope you enjoy your Sunday. How you doing? Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. As much as I love social media, I feel like I'm in a semi-social media avoidant phase right now. Like, I don't feel the need. Like, if it's someone's birthday or something, I don't feel the need to go on the social media and post about it. I just like text them. So I just like texted Happy Father's Day instead of like I did it for Mother's Day. I'm doing it for birthdays instead of like going on and making them post. But it's fine. It's whatever. Um, so I was thinking of like when the Four of Swords came out with like the star or whatever. Um, and I was like, there is this, it first came across as a subconscious truth or an underlying truth. And then add a bunch of lenses and filters and perspective to either see that truth or to see something other than that. And that's kind of sort of how it was coming out until today, where it's almost like, well, there's a, oh gosh, where there's a different layer to it. Oh my goodness. Where it's almost like there are things that we intend, and then there is what something is intended for, or what something is intended to be. There's also the intentions that we put forward when we create or manifest something, the progression of life, and then how those intentions are sort of like honored. So again, like with me in this place, I intended it to be this in between point. Like, this is to get me comfortable for the leap that I know is coming. And I guess now that I'm comfortable, I don't need this. So even if I would desire to stay longer, life is working out in a way where it's like, no. I'm like, okay, that's fair because it's not what I intended. And so then it was a question of like, well, yeah, what is intended and what the intention of something is, right? It has fulfilled its intention. I gotta get this card. Let me like switch the screen real quick. I'm still here. I'm just under the desk. Trying to pick up these cards that fell. Ooh. And I was just gonna use the Wand Unknown, but I glanced over at the Fable Makers, and I was like, sure, why not? Whew, it is hot over here today. Like it's one of those hots outside where you step outside and you can just feel the life being sucked out of you by the sun as the moisture and life force evaporates from your body. Like I stepped out and it was like stepping into a steam room. This deck is huge. So I guess there's a question of what I intend to do next. And I don't know if it's necessarily entirely different. I feel like there are similarities, but there are also differences between like, what do I intend to do next? What do I intend for my life by the way that I'm moving forward? But also like, what do I want? And then it was something else. Well, I guess that's pretty much it. I was just like, wow, just a lot to like think about and to be mindful of. And I'm like, okay, well, 7 of Cups and the 7 of Coins. Ooh, 7 of Cups and 7 of Coins at the cut. There we go. I kind of want to use the Wild Unknown Alchemy. I'm gonna grab it today. This is whatever live. Also, my mom was listening to a thing, and I'm like, oh, well, here we go. Oh wait, I don't need to do that. I can do this. Wild Unknown Alchemy. Alchemy of the Wild Unknown. The Wild Unknown. Oh my gosh, it's upside down. What am I going to do with all these decks? I don't know what the cost of shipping and handling is, but I might pull a Rob. If you want it, let me know. I'll send it to you. The only thing I will probably never, ever, 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 hopefully ever let go of, the Fable Makers, my SKTs, and some of the other stuff that I got that I can't think of right now. But every now and then, like, wait. Oh, here it is. I was like, where was the book? Interesting. I kind of want to use the Angel Air right now, too, but excuse me, oh well. So, again, I don't know if this is necessarily going to be that. That's just something that has been brought to my awareness. Okay. I mean, honestly, I'm honestly at the point where I'm like, I kind of don't want to hold on to anything. Like, I don't, it's more so the hassle of it. I don't want the hassle of like packing and moving and all that stuff. I'm like, I kind of want to just get rid of all of it, start new, which isn't like the best financial necessarily choice or decision. But at the same time, I don't know, which is weird for me because before I made my first few moves, I would hold on to like everything. And when I had to downsize from my apartment back into a dorm in what was that, 2018? I was like, that was the first time where I was like, I can get rid of this and get rid of that. And then when I went from the dorm to back home, ooh, the void and antimony. The void is interesting because I've been thinking about the void. Um, Specifically Dot or Dayot or however you pronounce it. And then I saw Dot on one of the cards. And then there was the void card. It is warm. It is very, excuse me. But yeah, I used to hold on to everything. And now I'm like, honestly, it could all go. Like, just be done with that. But I'm not going to do that. And it seems like every time I get on here, there's a new, different thing that I want to do. But I guess that's kind of sort of where I am. Like, I feel like I'm also partially at this point in life where there isn't necessarily a right answer, but there are things for me to consider. And so, with what I know, with the information available to me, I make a choice decision. I decide I want to go in a certain direction. I get to learn more, or if something else comes into my awareness, and I'm like, okay, like that's also interesting. I apparently have found myself with a certain set of skills. Jupiter was just at the bottom of the deck, and then it came out. Excuse me. Jupiter and reddening. Bottom of the deck is lead, which has Saturn on it. Six and 15. This is interesting. Six. Lead is 20. But since it's like this, it's almost like this, kind of sort of like an equal sign. Kind of sort of like a mirror. Like they're equivalent, they're the same, or a reflection of the other in some way. What is Patrick doing? Does Patrick ever know? Sometimes. Oh. I might have to blow my nose. Okay. All right. Zoo. This gosh darn page of wands. I saw it at the cut with the 6 of wands, maybe, like when I first pulled this deck out. I guess that's a little bit of theme. Cards that I'll see, not necessarily mentioned, that end up coming out. Well, I guess, like the snake, we see that torrent of energy, like climbing up the wand. I feel like I just saw something about like Kundalini. And I guess it is more red down here than up there. Even though the Kundalini rests in the sacral, not necessarily the root. There's something about the Page of Wands gripping this wand with both hands. Bottom of the deck is the Queen of Coins and the King of Wands, because I accidentally grabbed him. This might be my favorite King of Wands card. Because he's just like holding the wand, and all of this energy is like swirling around him. And it's even like making flowers at the tip of the wand bloom. You see? There they are. Well, it may not focus, but so there's almost between the two of these, there's almost this energy of focus. Because even in the Queen of Pentacles, it's like he's focusing on the wand, she's focusing on the coin, and the wand pulls in this energy. The coin starts to spin and produces some kind of like wind. Oh, it's a rabbit. I was like, what is that? There's a little rabbit in this card. Oh, there it is. You can see it. But when I was looking at it, I like flashed it real quick. But with the Page of Wands, it takes both hands. So there's something about focus again. There's something here about focus. Focus and concentration. I don't know if they're necessarily like they feel different. Can you concentrate on something and not necessarily focus on it? If you concentrate on something and you don't necessarily focus on it, it feels like it blurs. Like if you cross your eyes and stare at this picture, you'll see the image behind the image. I'm so bad at those. But it's like that. Like to focus on, to concentrate on something, but not focus on the specifics of the detail. Like the Page of Wands is both concentrated and focused, both hands on the wand, because it feels like it takes a lot of effort. to get this energy to surge up. But with the King of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, it doesn't feel like it takes both focus and concentration. I guess in this way, I could say one would be focus, the other one would be concentration. But this is giving me focus for sure because it's a wand. And wands, well, actually, it may be concentration because there's a wand, but there isn't a focus. A wand and a focus are different. Like the pentacle almost reads more of a focus. Like if this were a mage wizard type thing in like a D&D video game sort of setting, they would have the wand and the focus. The focus could be like a book, a tome, a little orb thingy. It could be the Wayfarer's bauble that we saw that the goblin shaman had. So the King of Wands is concentration. The Queen of Coins is focus. I haven't read these challenges. I'm curious. Oh, Eight of Wands is at the top of the deck. We've seen this card before. And it was very electromagnetic. This came out in adding movement and dynamism to something that's stagnant or stationary. I'm pretty sure this came out in the bottom row. And it was like the wands themselves aren't moving, but there's this energy that's moving around the wands. They're like pulsating, they're doing something. Ooh, I need to get curious again. I'm going to look at these two. 15. Yosis. Yosis, hey. Jupiter expansion, possibility, and fortune. Jupiter is often a welcome sight emerging from the darkness, shimmering with possibilities. It is the planet of growth, expansion, success, and elevation. When this card appears, the future is full and bright, perhaps even dazzling. Everyone wants to be around Jupiterian energy and to claim a little for themselves. So there is likely a magnetic feeling at play. Well, there you go. The work is to keep Jupiter's bigness in balance during the wave of expansion that's taking place. Its shadow is most easily seen in celebrity culture, excess consumption, and messaging of never enough. You may begin comparing yourself with others or assessing your value. Don't double judge yourself for this. Jupiter happens. Instead, realign with the benevolent message in your heart. What truly needs expanding? It's likely not your followers or your bank account. And then with the reddening on the other side, this this is life force, kundalini, and blood. Interesting. Cool. The reddening indicates a full expression of the work. Everything is alive. The heart pumps, the cells celebrate, and blood sings its way through the body. What was dormant has been awakened. What was once considered base is now noble. Aches and pains are integrated. Shadows are acknowledged and interwoven. When the reddening card appears, it signifies health, power, a climaxing of the work, a coalescing of what has been learned. The laboratory is no longer separate from the alchemist or from the work, but the three are now one. What occurs in the body is reflected in the world and vice versa. Through the process of reddening, we move out of the head and into the physical body. More specifically, we reach the heart. It is there the alchemist finds the sacred ingredients of power and kindness. Wow. So that's why I was like, okay. Again, like with the acolyte of Bahamut, power and kindness uniting under the same banner. There's also that we reach the heart. And that was the mountain path, the alchemy of the mountain pass. And the one that came after it. It was all about like getting to the heart of a thing. And then we got this Jupiterian expansion. And again, like we see Kundalini represented here with it rising along and then like I guess like here's the energy rising along the base of the energy rising along the wand, and then the person standing straight up, like their spine and this wand are parallel. The spine and the wand are parallel, and it's like the arms holding, it's almost at the perpendicular, but imagine it's at the perpendicular, sort of bridging the spine of the page with the wand. This is so interesting. Um, Now, looking at the wand, the energy starts in the upper hand. I was going to try to say, is that left or right? It don't matter, girl. But the bottom of the wand, like we don't see any of that energy going. And you can see in that frame right there, it literally starts in that hand. And then it rises up from there. So I don't know. I guess so. But that would be at the solar plexus, which I guess would also make sense because of what the solar plexus is. Because it's almost like the energy is inside of the page's body, and then it crosses the bridge and then goes up the wand. I feel like this is answering a question that I have / had. Um, like that one time I went live with Corey, and I had the question of like, if our energy or consciousness or whatever could almost like spill outside of the vessel and be externalized, or like feel like take form outside of the self. And this is almost like answering that in a way. And then we have these two. I like theory, the theoretical. We ain't always gotta make stuff make sense. Sometimes we can allow for things to be what they are. And this today may be one of those days where maybe I'll like try to round it into something 3D that makes sense. Or maybe I'll just let it be what it is. I have my, whoa, this shouldn't be down here. This should be up here. I have my bookmarks. So, the challenge of the Page of Wands, because I haven't read these yet and I'm intrigued. I'm interested. The room of the Page of Wands acolyte is filled with games. They are bubbly and curious. Well, cool. Oh my gosh, it's almost like I'm in sync or something. I'm just grabbing these because I might use them. Well, I don't know, Tara. Ooh. They ask to be taught a new game in exchange for opening the door. If they enjoy the game, they offer a bag of beans as a gift. Now, the bag of beans is interesting because I just watched a show. What show? I'm pretty sure it was The Magicians. I don't remember where they were. But they were like, how did you get here? Like a beanstalk? Or, and they're like, no, we took a portal, or our friend's a traveler or something like that. Like it had to be The Magicians. And it literally would have been within the past like 24 to 48 hours. She's giving Into the Woods, which was also mentioned in another show I was watching. Oh, and The Magicians. It was mentioned in The Magicians because they made a pun about a musical. They were singing a song from a musical to pump themselves up for this like duel that they didn't know if the one of the protagonists would survive. And everyone was like, their nerves are up, but they hit this musical number. It was One More Day. And they show up, and then the guy on the other side, he recognized the musical, and then they're fighting the duel. The other guy who wasn't the protagonist, he's not necessarily an antagonist, but he ran off, and then they were like, can he do that? And they were like, well, the duel's not over until one person is dead. And then he was like, yeah, just like one of my other favorite musicals, Into the Woods, because he had to run into the woods to chase after him. That's where I heard Into the Woods. Not that y'all needed to know all that. Why do I have my phone? Bag of beans. That's why. Bag of beans. 5E. Let's see what this is. Ooh, a D100. Okay. Well, hey, I got time today. Hopefully this will be one of my last lives from this place because I really need to pack. I have 2 weeks. I haven't started yet. I got the boxes and stuff today. I say that because I'm like, oof, I'm not going to use lives to procrastinate. I'm like, I got time today. I got time today. There is so much I need to do. And the time for doing it has arrived. But now that everything that's being brought to my awareness and attention is being brought to my awareness and attention, there's just another layer of intentionality that I can bring to whatever. The intentions and the purpose of this move were so clear to me. Like I knew what it was. And moving forward, it's less of what I need and more of what I want. So I don't know yet. So as of now, visit people. I'm going to save my money. I'm going to visit people. I'm going to hopefully get to see my dad for a little bit. 100. LOL. I just put the dice down and it landed on 100. 100 is triple zeros. Oh, okay, wait. There we go. I can reply to my dad later. So yeah, I hope to visit him for a little bit. I thought about doing a month-long Airbnb on a beach somewhere. So we'll see. I'm not sure. But I guess also too, there's been this rise of the true Patrick, maybe. Like for the people who live with me, like they know how like musical I can be or whatever. My dad is actually the same way. I found that out a few years ago. Just like singing. Like I'll be singy sometimes, but like loud singy. And he was like loud singy. I was like, oh, that's where I get it from. Uh, and my mom sent me a video years ago of her doing something on her laptop and me in my room, and like you could hear me. And I saw it the other day. Well, like even at the wedding, I feel like because it was a thing that I did intentionally almost 2 years ago. That was 2022. Um, Now I'm better at like just like dancing if I want to dance or whatever. It helps when I'm in a place where I don't know anybody. Like when I was at my friend's wedding in India, I was like, these people are never going to see me again. So if I want to just be like dancing on my own in the corner and moving to the music while the DJ is here and the music is musicking, I'm gonna do it. And I did. There was a lot of dancing that I didn't necessarily expect to do. But anyway, that's also a part like this new part of the authenticity of Patrick is to like do that and to be that. So anyway, well, thank you. Woo. The fortune cookie fortune said, what great fortune lies for those who seek adventure or something like that. Okay, bag of beans. So inside this heavy cloth bag are three D4. Oh, gotta get my D4. I'm gonna roll it 3 times. So one. Oh, that didn't roll. 5, 6. There are 6 dried beans. The bag weighs half a pound plus what's that? It weighs a pound and a half. If you dump the bag's contents out on the ground, they explode in a 10-foot radius extending from the beans. Each creature in the area, including you, must make a DC 15 dexterity saving throw, taking 5d4 fire damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one. The fire ignites flammable objects in the area that aren't being worn or carried. If you remove a bean from the bag, plant it in dirt or sand, and then water it, the bean produces an effect 1 minute later from the ground where it was planted. The DM can choose an effect from the following table, determine it randomly, or create an effect. Interesting. All these DC saving throws. So if you have a D20, you can roll a D20 to see if you would explode, I guess. I don't know. If you don't have a D20, but you have like Siri, then you can ask Siri to roll the D20. Or you could just pick a random number between 1 and 20. I don't know. Anyway, it's fine. Where's my D20? Let's see. Because why not? I'm rolling dice today. It's one of my last days to procrastinate. Okay. I'm not overly worried about it at this point. Things work out. And I'm a like go with the flow type person until like it's like, oh crap, it's the last minute. 15. Oh my gosh. I rolled. Oh, look, also 15 is reddening. I didn't even catch that. DC 15. So I would not explode. Or this collectively, we would not explode. Barely. We would meet the save. Okay. Oops. Okay. So now let's roll these. I'm going to roll the percentile dice. We have 84. 84. What happens? So a nest of 1d4 plus 3. Let's get the 1d4. So 7. I rolled a 4. A nest of 7 eggs spring up. Any creature that eats an egg must make a DC 20 Constitution saving throw. On a successful save, a creature permanently increases its lowest ability score by 1, randomly choosing among equally low scores. On a failed save, the creature takes 10d6 force damage from an internal magical explosion. Man, wow. Well, at first I was like, oh my gosh, you get to increase your ability score by 1. But to risk potentially at the least 10d6. So at the least that's what, 10 to 60 force damage from an internal magical explosion. I'm not going to roll a d6 10 times. And it's a DC 20 Constitution saving throw, which means you would have to roll a nat 20 without any modifiers. Wow. But there's 7 eggs. That's crazy. So anyway, it said that the beans can be planted in earth or sand. There's sand here. Maybe it was planted. I don't know. Anyway, that was just a challenge from the Page of Wands, the Acolyte of Wands. It was already games, but that's like big, almost trickster energy. They asked to be taught a new game in exchange for opening the door. If they enjoy the new game, they offer a bag of beans. Even the bag of beans, it's like if you dump them out, they'll explode in fire. If you pick a bean, there are so many different things that it can do, including producing eggs that if you eat it, there's a chance that it'll increase your lowest ability by 1, or you'll take internal force damage from magical explosions. But the magical explosions, it's almost like whether or not we have the internal metabolic pathways or whether or not our system can handle that energy that the magic sort of like provides. If our system can't, then it takes damage from these explosions. But if our system can harness that energy, then it will increase. It has a chance to, if it can harness that energy, then it'll increase our lowest ability. So it's basically like an alignment type thing. If we can synchronize and align and harmonize with that energy, then we will get like a boost where we need it. If we can't, then it's almost like, not to say that all ascension symptoms are like this, but it's almost like ascension symptom type, like the energy was there, but it overloaded the body, and now the body is like struggling because it couldn't integrate this energy. Now, obviously, with the next cards being the King of Wands and Queen of Wands, it works with the body. Excuse me. Now, unlike the tome of clear sight and the tome of understanding, this, the eggs increasing in ability, because it doesn't specify that it can take us above the threshold of 20, I'm going to assume it doesn't take us to like superhuman levels. It can take us to the peak, but it won't take us beyond, which is fine. If we can teach it a new game, what is the context of game? I feel like I need like an oracle deck. I wish I had my deck of many things. I could get the animated decks, but I don't know. Ooh, Five of Pentacles at the pit. Bubbly and curious. If we could teach them a new game. Cool. Face down. Love it. Bottom of the deck is the Ace of Wands. That's literally blossoming. Where have we seen a blossoming wand? Oh my gosh. The Son of Pentacles and the Daughter of Wands. There's a lot of like fire earth energy. Jupiter's in Gemini right now. This is the Page of Wands energy, the Daughter of Wands. Technically, Son of Wands is like Knight of Pentacles energy. So the nature of this game, it's like it's fun and bubbly and curious and energizing, but it has real life implications. It's almost like gambling. More so like betting. Like I'm thinking, I'm watching this Salad Bowl of Eccentrics, that anime with like Odin and right. And there's an episode where they go to like horse racing, and she bets on these horses, and she's really good at like knowing how the horses are going to place. She's like a horse whisperer or something. But because of the Son of Pentacles, like this game, it has like real life correlations, consequences, effects, whatever. Like there's something that comes about because of the game. It doesn't necessarily have to be gambling. It's like Jumanji, I guess. Oh gosh, yeah. Let's give the little trickstery acolyte of wands Jumanji. Goodness, Jumanji is probably the game created by whatever. Anyway, or I guess it could be something that's like brain training. Hey, David, how you doing today? It could be like, oh, this is something that's really fun and it also improves your memory. This is something like we've made educational fun. I was going to say, I guess educational. It could be something like that. Cool. Page of Wands, the Archmage of Fire. This is the third Archmage we've seen now. That's why I was like, I have to. The King of Wands, Archmage under the effects of the glibness spell, is utterly charming. Now we got to look up what the glibness spell is. What does the word glib mean? I've heard it. I don't know. In context, I might. Glibness. Glibness 5E. I forgot the B in glibness. There it is. Glibness 5E. So, until the spell ends, when you make a charisma check, you can replace the number you roll with a 15. There's that number 15 again. Additionally, no matter what you say, magic that would determine if you are telling the truth indicates that you are being truthful. Wow. So the Archmage is basically so charismatic that it can fool even like a spell or a truth, whatever, into thinking that it's telling the truth. It could actually be telling the truth, or it could be the spell. Who knows? He engages visitors in conversation, and while he does ask questions, he tries to remain the center of attention. Before they depart his room, he offers creatures the benefits of the glibness spell for 10 days. If any creature has dazzled and delighted him during their conversation, the king offers a tome of leadership and influence. The door in the king's room is unlocked. This is so interesting because with the Archmage of Chalices, you got to ask 3 yes or no questions and get a truthful answer. But with this king, whatever he says, with this Archmage, whatever he says, we would interpret as truth. And we would have literally no way to know that it isn't. Because everything would point to it as truth. No matter what you say, magic that would determine if you are telling the truth indicates that you are being truthful. Well, I guess it specifically says magic. So you could test it. If there's something that you know and you're told an untruth, but if magic verifies it as true, but you know that it's not true, then you would know that there's some kind of force at play. That would be like a red flag. He asks questions but tries to remain the center of attention. If anyone dazzles and delights him during the conversation, the king offers a tome of leadership and understanding. This is almost tome of leadership and influence 5E. Did it say price? Not the price. I don't need the price. I just need the tome, please. Thank you. Tome of leadership and influence, probably charisma, because that would make sense. Yeah. This book contains guidelines for influencing and charming others, and its words are charged with magic. If you spend 48 hours over a period of 6 days or fewer studying the book's contents and practicing its guidelines, your charisma score increases by 2, as does your maximum for that score. The manual then loses its magic, but regains it in a century. So yeah, charisma, that was like obviously charisma, because glibness. Oh, wow. I guess I'll get 2 more. The Fool at the top with the Ace of Wands. The Hierophant at the top still with the Ace of Wands. I don't know, this one I kind of like the least personally, because I'm like, he could just like straight up lie to you. And Magic would be like, yep, he's telling the truth. He offers it to you for 10 days. So in those 10 days, if you get a tome as well, like, there we go. Ooh, girl. 10 of Swords. 4 of Cups is at the bottom of the deck. Seven of Cups is behind the 4 of Cups, with the 7 of Swords behind them. 7 of Cups and the 3 of Swords is behind the 7 of Swords, and then Justice is behind that. 7 Swords, 3 Swords equal to the 10 of Swords. So we have the 4. Oh, Justice is an 8 in this deck. If Justice were an 11, like it is in some decks, this would be 11 Cups. And then we would have had Justice as the 11, but Justice is the 8 here. And it feels like that is like intentional. The 10 Swords would have matched. The 10 of Swords would have matched the 7 plus the 3 of Swords. The 11 of the 4 and 7 of Chalices would have matched the 11 of Justice if this were a different deck. But in this deck, 11 is Strength and Justice is 8. So there's almost this, what we think. It's like the whole thing is engaging the Archmage of Wands in conversation. This is almost like saying all the things that we think the Archmage of Wands would want to hear. We know that the Archmage of Wands is capable of asking questions, but is ultimately like self-centered and is like crazy charismatic. And maybe our approach for incredibly charismatic, seemingly self-centered energies and or people is to like talk about them to hype them up. But it's like they already know who they are and what they are. It's almost like they're looking for someone to match their charisma. They're looking for someone who can be so interesting or so whatever that even though they are typically self-centered, it pulls their attention away from them anyway. They want to be dazzled. So it's not to play into their ego. It's to, oh my gosh, the thing that my mom was listening to, it was all about like pitching. Everything is a pitch, pitching yourself and whatever. It's like to have a really, really, really good pitch that even the Archmage of self-centricism and self-obsession would want to buy into something else. And I think the 10 of Swords here, like the 4 of Cups and the 7 of Cups could be almost a form of like abstaining. More so. See ya, Holly. I know you're driving, listening. Okay, well, enjoy dinner. I think you said dinner. Before you have to head out, enjoy wherever you're going. The 4 and the 7 of Cups, this is almost coming through as like abstaining or not doing something because we feel like we're not supposed to do something. And then the 7 and 3 being the 10, it's like it destroys the self. Like this is all about something that we think we have to do in order to appease someone or to gain something. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's not what they're looking for. And now we've wasted our own time, energy, effort, and opportunity. So it doesn't benefit us either. Interesting. I'm gonna get these. I'm gonna move these so I can push these up so I can use this space. Okay, so these two came out here. And then all of these came out here under this King of Wands. And it feels like the King of Wands too. Like not only would it be a very, very, very charismatic energy, the Archmage of Wands, it's also like interesting. And so it feels like we would naturally want to get to know more about that Archmage of Wands. But the purpose of the conversation isn't like it's like the Archmage of Wands is trying to get to know us. It's like very one-sided anyway. And it's interesting that it's under leadership and influence. I mean, charisma being the tone of leadership and influence isn't surprising. All right, Queen of Coins, what's her challenge? I don't think we've seen hers. Queen of Coins, the Queen of Coins mage, sits at the head of a long banquet table laden with food and drink. Eating this food provides the benefits of a hero's feast. The queen is gracious. The queen is a gracious and attentive host, happy to entertain adventurers as long as they may wish to stay. If she notices a guest particularly enjoying themselves at her table, she offers them a staff of the woodlands as a present. The door in the queen's room is unlocked. Phone, where are you, phone? What is the hero's feast? I'm assuming it's like a food buff. Hero's feast, 5E. They just like, no. Oh, let me open this up. So, you bring forth a great feast, including magnificent food and drink. The feast takes 1 hour to consume and disappears at the end of that time. And the beneficial effects don't set in until this hour is over. Up to 12 other creatures can partake of the feast. A creature that partakes of the feast gains several benefits. The creature is cured of all diseases and poison, becomes immune to poison and being frightened, and makes all wisdom saving throws with advantage. Its hit point maximum also increases by 2d10, and it gains the same number of hit points. These benefits last for 24 hours. One of the components of this is a gem-encrusted bowl worth at least 1,000 gold, which the spell consumes. So it's gone after you use it. Interesting. Oh, I didn't do the other thing. Staff of the Woodlands. Is there anything special about the Staff of the Woodlands? Staff of the Woodlands, 5E. This staff, arcane or druidic focus. It's rare, requires attunement by a druid. This staff can be wielded as a magic quarterstaff that grants a +2 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with it. While holding it, you have +2 bonus to spell attack rolls. The staff has 10 charges for the following properties. It regains 1d6 +4 expended charges daily at dawn. If you expend the last charge, roll a d20. On a 1, the staff loses its properties and becomes a non-magical quarterstaff. So, spells. Okay, that's not too long. You can use an action to expend one or more of the staff's charges to cast one of the following spells from it using your spell save DC. Animal Friendship, 1 charge. Awaken, 5 charges. Bark Skin, 2 charges. Locate animals or plants, 2 charges. Speak with animals, 1 charge. Speak with plants, 3 charges. Or Wall of Thorns for 6 charges. What is this awaken? Oh, crap. I'll have to read it after this. You can also use an action to cast a pass without trace spell from the staff without using any charges. So it has tree form. You can use an action to plant one end of the staff in fertile earth and expend one charge to transform the staff into a healthy tree. The tree is 60 feet tall and has a 5-foot diameter trunk, and its branches at the top spread out in a 20-foot radius. The tree appears ordinary, but radiates a faint aura of transmutation magic if targeted by detect magic. While touching the tree and using another action to speak its command word, you would turn the staff to its normal form. Any creature in the tree falls when it reverts to a staff, and then it can be used with one hand or two hands. Cool. What else about the tree? Is it just a tree? Is it a place to get shade or something? Like, the staff will turn into a healthy tree that's 60 feet tall, 5 foot in diameter, and the branches at the top spread out in a 20-foot radius. It appears ordinary, but it radiates a faint aura of transmutation. While touching the tree and using another action to speak its command word, you would turn the staff to its normal form. Any creature in the tree falls when it reverts to a staff. I guess there is a tree on her throne. I'm like, okay, it's a healthy tree. Like, I guess I can pull a card for this tree. I wonder if it like bears fruit. I mean, that's usually how I see the wands. I think we saw the King of Wands. Was that the King or the Queen of Wands in the Next World Tarot? It was the Queen of Wands in the Next World Tarot. And it was a tree. She had a tree inside of the wand. But this is the Queen of Coins. If she notices a guest particularly enjoying themselves at her table, she offers them a staff of the woodlands as a present. The queen is a gracious and attentive host, happy to entertain adventurers as long as they may wish to stay. I mean, I got tarot and everything else. Let's do it on this one too. 7 of Wands, 6 Pentacles at the kites. Oh, I forgot to look up Awakening. That was Death at the cut with something. All right, I'm gonna look up Awakening real quick before I forget. It's a quarterstaff, a magic quarterstaff. Excuse me. It has to be planted in fertile earth, though, in order for the staff to assume its tree form. So awaken for 5 of the 10, I guess, default charges. It's a 5th level transmutation spell. You need an agate worth at least 1,000 gold points, which the spell consumes. It's instantaneous. Has a casting time of 8 hours. The duration is instantaneous. After spending the casting time tracing magical pathways within a precious gemstone, you touch a huge or smaller beast or plant. The target must have either no intelligence score or an intelligence of 3 or less. The target gains an intelligence of 10. The target also gains the ability to speak one language you know. If the target is a plant, it gains the ability to move its limbs, roots, vines, creepers, and so forth, and it gains senses similar to a human's. Your DM chooses statistics appropriate for the awakened plant, such as the statistics for the awakened shrub or the awakened tree. The awakened beast or plant is charmed by you for 30 days or until you and your companions do anything harmful to it. When the charmed condition ends, the awakened creature chooses whether to remain friendly to you based on how you treated it while it was charmed. So once it's awakened forever. I thought after the 30 days it would like revert to a rock or a plant or something, but I guess not. A beast, sorry, a beast. I thought it would remain, it would revert, but it doesn't. Wow. So an awakened shrub has a strength of 3, dexterity of 8, constitution of 11, wisdom of 10, charisma of 6, and the intelligence of 10. The awakened tree strength of 19, dexterity of 6, constitution of 15, wisdom of 10, charisma of 7. So the tree is like a lot stronger, of course. And it can slam, whereas the shrub rakes. But while either remain motionless, they're indistinguishable from a normal shrub or tree. Interesting. What is that? I don't know. Here we just go with it. 4 of Swords, 3 of Wands, Mother of Pentacles, 3 of Wands. Do one more. 10 of Pentacles with the Mother of Pentacles. Mother of Pentacles is the Queen of Pentacles. Ooh, 3 of Wands, no. Okay. Oh, there we go. Well, Death just flipped over. Oh. And Death was the only card that flipped over. It's in between 2 cards that are face down. I'm going to take them. Bottom of the deck is the Father of Pentacles. Ooh! Because the Father of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck and this is the Queen of Coins, I don't know if she's hunting for a spouse or not. I mean, she is gifting a staff of the woodlands. So maybe she's like, if in the course of her entertaining you for dinner or whatever, if she thinks that you're like partner material, if she would welcome you into her family, she gives you a gift. So Death card is in between. Again, it's that 7 of Wands. The 7 and the 8 of Wands. This and even the Father, yeah, the 3 of Cups is and the 3 of Pentacles. 3 of Cups, 3 of Pentacles behind this Father of Pentacles. If she sees you as like kin, basically. But like the rainbow lightning with the rainbow antlers. Again, this is giving me capacity. This it's like being struck by this rainbow lightning and having the capacity or the anatomy, the anatomical configuration to be able to house this energy and to not be like internally combusted by it, to not die, to, but to become more. Interesting. I already forgot what reddening was about. I didn't even read it. What is this about? I don't know. And like that trickster type energy with the Page of Wands, it doesn't necessarily have to be a full on trickster, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a game, but to different entities, energies, even people, some things may be viewed almost as games. Like in the show that I'm watching, there was a god of order and a god of chaos, and the god of order was MIA. So the god of chaos was reigning. Children from Earth came into this mystical, like Narnia type land. They were made kings and queens because only kings and queens of Earth, or only children of Earth, can be kings and queens in this land. And there were a batch of children that were trying to fix everything, that were trying to do right by the people and the lands that they were ruling, but it bored the god of chaos. And so he was just going to destroy everything because it wasn't entertaining to him. Because to him, it was a game and their lives were insignificant. And it's not to say that the same is necessarily true here. Take it as it resonates. It depends on whoever, whatever is ruling in charge or that you connect to and that you believe in. But it's like a game that they don't know. Show them a game that they don't know. And it feels like there are so many games down here that have already been played before that are honestly like played out. And it's with the Son of Pentacles. So again, it's almost about like building something. It's about creating something. And again, it's interesting that justice isn't where we may think it to be. I guess it depends on if you're familiar with tarot at all. And if you are, is justice for you? Do you associate it with 8 or 11 or both or neither? I think a lot of Rider-Waite Smith based justice is like 11 and strength is 8. But on the Thoth and others, justice is 8 and strength is 11. I think. I don't know. It flip flops. Okay. Let's just say that because I know that. And then what does it even mean to enjoy something? Because this is the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Coins. This is a queen who sits at the head of a long banquet table laden with food and drink. In which, like, partaking of it can heal diseases and poisons, neutralize poison, make you immune to fear, and do whatever else. She's gracious and attentive, happy to entertain as long as you may wish to stay. If she notices a guest particularly enjoying themselves at her table, she offers them a staff of the woodlands as a present. But it's almost a question of like, what does enjoyment mean? Because it's framed in the way of if she notices someone enjoying themselves, then particularly enjoying themselves, then she offers a present. So is it them enjoying it in the way that they enjoy it or in the way that they show enjoyment, or is it how she perceives of someone enjoying something? Because those are potentially two very different things. This Queen of Coins energy is interesting. The Mage of Coins is interesting. I see the I see the Archmage of Coins. I'm not gonna read it. I'm so curious, but it hasn't come out, so I'm not gonna read it. It will come out in its time. We've seen 3 out of 4. Because it's almost like I could see the Queen of Coins being like, let's say someone gets awarded or given presented someone gets presented a staff of the woodlands for enjoying the feast, and someone else going, well, like, oh, I enjoyed it too, like, where's my staff, like, I enjoyed it. And then the Queen of Coins is like, someone who truly enjoyed this would have conducted themselves in this manner or in this way, or would have made this kind of remark, or would have done this or done that or done whatever. All of these things being markers of someone who enjoys something, you did not whatever any of them. So you weren't presented with the staff of the woodlands. Like maybe enjoying it is having appreciation. Or if there's meat, the animals that gave their lives, and even the plants that gave their lives, or whatever. The plants that gave their seeds, you know, girl, I don't know. Because even in customs, the enjoyment of food and drink is different in different customs. Like, I'm pretty sure in Japanese customs, like if you're eating like ramen or whatever, like I think I could be wrong, but I think like if you enjoy it, you're supposed to like slurp it. Like people are supposed to hear you enjoying it, but that could be incredibly rude in other customs and cultures. Or even just like the meal itself, and how like um in some customs it's very important that everyone sits at the table and eats together and partakes in the meal at the same time, whereas in others it may not be as important that everyone gather around the same table and eat at the same time. Or, and then you get into like etiquette and a whole bunch of other stuff. Excuse me. Or like um yeah, stuff like that. This is so overall, this could be, especially like with Jupiter expansion and this reddening life force blood being life force energy. The Page of Wands wants to see someone do something in a new way, to bring something new in a world where there's nothing new under the sun. The King of Wands is so incredibly charismatic and like has such a strong magnetism to itself that pulls other people in, but it wants to hear about you. It wants to be dazzled by you. It wants to see your radiance as another star that occupies the same night sky as itself. And then the Queen of Coins, the Mage of Coins, wants to see if you can enjoy a feast that's put before you. So I feel like these almost presented, maybe they didn't, but it feels like they present as a lot easier or as a lot more easygoing and carefree or whatever than they are. It's not, it feels like they are as carefree and easygoing as they appear to be, but to impress them is to go beyond. Almost like they could kind of enjoy anybody's company, so it doesn't really matter. But to impress them is like, on one hand, it's not necessarily easy, but also on the other hand, there isn't anything that you have to do to impress them. It's just like you being who you are may be impressive to them. I'm not going to say it is. I'm not going to say it isn't. I'll say it may be. But it's not like there isn't any way to like try to win their favor. To try to win their favor is to almost instantaneously lose it. To curry to and cater to what you think they want or what you think they would like, it's almost a guaranteed way to just like not even, because it's again, it's an energy that wants to know you, it's interested in learning you. And even with the games, like if someone's like, suggest to me a game, and a game that I don't know that you think I would enjoy. So whatever you select, it implies that you believe they don't know of it already, for one, and you picking something that you think that they would enjoy. It's almost like the way that you perceive of them is also highlighted. Like, what about this in particular makes you think that I would enjoy it? Or what about me makes you think that I would enjoy something like this type of energy? So that almost in a way too tests perception. All of this in a time of expansion, which is interesting. It's almost like when everybody was, anyway, it's almost like there's something new that's like open, and it feels like there's a perceived lack of selectivity, especially if we play comparison games and we're like, well, that person got it. Like, why didn't I get it? Like, if you thought that they were dazzling and they're like plain Jane, beige, and gray, but I'm like in full color or whatever, like, you don't think I'm entertaining? You don't think I'm dazzling, but like, you find that dazzling? It's almost like the comparison of something makes it seem or read or feel like really easy, like they're just giving it away, but they aren't. There's a selectivity to this, and it's something new, it's something different. There's nothing new under the sun, but that's exactly what they're looking for. They're looking for something new. Interesting. No majors this time either. Let's get, I guess, one more. 10 of Wands is at the bottom of the deck too. And the 8 of Wands is at the top of the deck again. Cutting to the 10 of Cups, 10 of Chalices, 10 of Chalices, 10 of Wands. Love that energy. I mean, I love the 10 of Chalices. Let's get one more. Excuse me. And again, maybe this plays into the whole like, there is what we intend to do with things, and then there is what things are intended for. Like if there is like a 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles is almost inherently intended for more than one individual. So to pursue something that is meant to be enjoyed by many, but intend to be the only person in that experience is to, at some level, be in a space of, I want to say disalignment or malignment. It's to create some kind of friction or for there to be some kind of rift somewhere. And maybe that plays back into, I think it was the third one. I don't remember. I think it was Angels and Alchemy. Again, I don't remember. But there was something that came out where it was like someone who had like low self-worth, self-esteem, someone who didn't see themselves as whatever enough to do something on their own. So they bring other people into it, but they are enough on their own. And it was something about like, that's the thing that is not lining up, or that's the thing that's not right. It's us thinking that we need somebody or something else to validate us, essentially. Like, it's almost similar to that. And it's like, no, like we can still collaborate with one another, but when we enter that collaboration with a view of ourselves that is untrue, playing it small and leaning on others more than we should, it misdistributes the weight of the whole thing, and it makes it liable to like crumble or something. All right. Oop, there we go. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. And we get a major arcana. Love it. No challenge. And another one at the bottom of the deck. Love it even more. We already saw the number 6. 6 is Jupiter. Look at this. 6, Jupiter. 6, the Lovers. What is the Lovers associated with? Gemini. Where is Jupiter right now? Gemini. Jupiter and Gemini, 6, 6. Also, there's a 15 on the table. The Lovers. Bottom of the deck is the Sun. There's nothing new under the sun. And then here we have the Lovers standing under the sun with this angel sort of standing witness. Is this new? I don't know. The volcano doesn't even erupt. Why is there a volcano in the background? Let me stop. We see the fire from the King of Wands. We see the green from the Queen of Pentacles. We see the snake from the reddening. The boon of the Lovers. Fate-altering boons. This is a boon that can alter fate. The Lovers. Each member of the party who wishes to will find true love. One of the party's lost loved ones is restored to life. Those are the 2 proposed boons from the Nova's Fate-altering boons table. To restore life to a party's lost loved one, or to find true love. And it's almost like one or the other. To either find true love or to restore a loved one to life. Because it's either or, take it as it resonates, if it's possible for anything here to resonate. But because they're 2 separate bullet points, it's feeling like one's passed on loved one is not their true love. And maybe it's because that, but it's like that time is over. And it's not that if the passed on loved one was someone's true love, that like they weren't that true love. But if they're passed on, then they wouldn't still necessarily play that same role because they're gone. So it's almost presented in a way of like there's an opportunity to go back to the past or to relive something, but there is more, there's different. There's different for us to experience moving forward into the future because what's gone is gone. But just because we've lost someone doesn't mean that we will never experience anything else ever again. And it isn't about replacing someone. It isn't, doesn't have to be trying to find someone else who makes you feel a certain type of way that somewhere something else made you feel, because it may not be for you to find something in that way again. But if that's the case, it doesn't mean that there aren't other things that can still be fulfilling and whatever for you to find. Right. I mean, obviously, like there's no wrong choice, but it feels like something, if we go back to the past, there's something in the future that we lose. But even if we lose something in the future, there's something that we've regained. So it's easy to see it as like losing and gaining and losing and gaining, or losing and gaining versus gaining and losing. But either way, just like life, there's no necessarily, there's not always a wrong move. Okay. Sometimes I feel like there is a wrong choice because there almost has to be in a world of free will and free choice. It's almost like there has to be a bad choice. Because if there isn't a bad choice, then the choices don't matter. You know what I mean? Like if you're playing a game and no matter what you choose to do, no matter the dialogue option, if it plays out the same, like you didn't really have a choice, you know? And just because we make one bad choice or a series of bad choices or we make a wrong move or whatever doesn't mean that all we get to experience is bad. We choose an experience and it plays out either way. We don't lose out. It's just like there's something, no matter what choice we make, there is something, but it feels like to choose one is to not choose the other. And again, that's fine. Because if in the scenario of people, if we do choose to like rekindle an old romance instead of taking on a new partner, then like that new partner will find someone else. You know what I mean? So ultimately it'll all work out. Anyway. Anyway. But I guess there, it's about the new thing under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun, but this is about finding the thing that is new. Maybe that could be new, you know, a resurrected love, another chance at romance with the a passed on loved one in the same lifetime. I'm assuming that's new. Anyway, I never read the lead that's at the bottom of all this. 20, which is judgment. XX. This is density weight Saturn. Lead is the first metal. Its properties are heavy, dense, and unwaveringly steady. It is often perceived as the metal that initiated the entire alchemical drive to turn what is base into what is noble. It correlates to the planet Saturn and its love of rules and structure. On one hand, this card implies a fixed position or burden that may be weighing down the work. On the other hand, lead can arrive just in time to ground a situation, to bring an alchemist back to the humble beginnings. Either way, the presence of lead is sobering. We cannot ignore it. The impatient alchemist may be discouraged to see it in the laboratory, as it reminds us of how far we have to go. Approach this card with reverence for the ongoing process. Was it reddening? Yosis? I think it was Yosis. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was Jupiter. Hold up. Oh, that's the wrong entry. I'm like, hold up. I ain't read these words. There we go. Yes. The reddening indicates a full expression of the work. Everything is alive. The heart pumps, the cells. The heart pumps, the cells celebrate, and blood sings its way through the body. What was dormant has been awakened. Oh, there's awakened. What was once considered base is now noble. What was once considered lead is now gold. What was once considered lead is now gold. So, to the alchemist that embraces or has reached the state of yosis, this reddening, they will see the lead as gold. It's something, and this could be something. I know I said I may not do this, or I probably wouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it. Like this could be a situation that happens, but now that we have done the work, or now that we're at this stage of having done the work, we can see what would have caused the spiral maybe in the past. We can see an opportunity to go back and repeat something from the past or to try again or whatever. As my brain just like in the middle of that. Basically, gold is what's coming. It's the sun. It's the new thing under the sun. But something presents as lead. Lead is the thing that we've done before and before and before. The thing that we've done before over and over and over again. The endless loops and circles and spirals that we used to be in with no real change. Like this is the invitation to go on a spiral again. But there's something that this reddening, it automatically like transmutes it into gold. It doesn't fall into the same pitfalls again. Again, we have like the rebirth of this death and rebirth. We have the vessel that's capable of containing and transmuting the lightning, the one that won't spontaneously combust and be incapacitated due to the force of internal magical explosions. Because this is the one that meets life head on rather than continuing to do what one thinks one has to do, to be who one believes they have to be, and to say the things that they believe they have to say to get what they want. Because that it's reading like it's not going to work with this King of Wands, whatever. The King of Wands, Archmage of Wands is going to be like, I know that I'm amazing. I know that I'm this, and I know that I'm that. I didn't invite you here to have a conversation with me for you to tell me all of these things that I already know about myself. And while, yes, I do love talking about myself, I was also hoping to get to know you. But that didn't happen, did it? And you're like, oh, I think this is also why, and it's been coming up a lot lately, but this is also why, like, being stuck and not necessarily stuck, being quick to repeat a pattern or to go off of observations based off of previous patterns could potentially not serve in this situation. And again, it's something that reads as incredibly simple, but also like impossibly difficult. There's nothing new under the sun, and we're being asked to present something new. It's not that difficult if it is who we are. but it's nearly impossible if it isn't. Oh, look, there's the sun. And 4 of Wands. 2 of Wands. Daughter of Pentacles. I don't know who that one was. What was that? Son of Cups. Son of Wands. Oh, cut into the Sun card. With the Father of Pentacles. Ooh, and then the Lovers with the Father of Pentacles. Like, we literally, the Lovers and the Sun, like literally right there. Cool. Love it. The Hermit and the Lovers. Shout out to Mercury. That's Gemini Virgo energy. What's in Virgo? I don't know. What's in Gemini? Jupiter. The Sun. Maybe Mars soon. I don't know. Oh, look. Mother of Wands, the Magician. I'm going to shuffle all these before I give final cards. There's Death, there's the Empress, there's the Six of Wands, and Judgment. Judgment stands above, almost like the Lovers. 10 of Cups at the cut. 10 of Cups in the Sun. Gorgeous energy. Love to see it. Love to see it. It is almost like a Shark Tank. But it's like going on Shark Tank and expecting to woo the judges or the sharks by appealing to their personalities rather than like having a really good product and like selling the product or selling your vision, selling your idea. And it's like, I appreciate the flattery, but flattery isn't going to get me to invest. Okay. Type energy. And honestly, it aligns with everything that we've been collectively manifesting in this age of Aquarius, New Age, whatever. The Virgin's Milk and the Great Word. Excuse me. Fog Nebula. Meaning in a way of like something new, something different. Because again, like I feel like we like to crap on the age of Pisces, but if you look at the fundamentals of what the age of Pisces is/was, it's almost like it was quote unquote supposed to be gorgeous. Like who would think that so many people subscribing to belief systems that are built around love for one another and harmony would turn into like bloodshed because you don't believe what I believe, or you're less valuable than I am. I believe that my life is worth so much more than yours, and I have no regard for, you know, like who like humans. I don't know. It's like, where would you get one from the other? And I think a lot of times we, as people, can put like our faith and our trust in something to be the answer to our prayers. And we can kind of sort of like treat it as such, even if it isn't. Like we can almost project onto it and then not hold it to any kind of accountability, to the point where we start to like make excuses for it or whatever. I guess in the age of Pisces, that was the rose tintedness of it all. To not see how 1 + 1 wasn't equaling 2. To not see where the math wasn't mathing, where it's like, if this is the prevailing belief, like the action should reflect that or should carry through. And I think the same is true of a lot of stuff. We can manifest something, we can want something, but I don't think we always think about what it means. And that's kind of why I brought up the point that I brought up the other day with the self read or whatever, where it's like, I'm someone who loves to grow. I can't love to grow or love to learn and refuse to accept when I'm wrong or refuse to acknowledge when I don't know something. Because for me to be stuck in those ways, like that's literally the definition of like learning, or it's literally the definition of growth. To be something tomorrow that I'm not today, to have something that I don't yet have. It creates all of these like conundrums. And a conundrum almost introduces infinite resistance to a pathway. Energy, lightning, Eve, Emily, it's my journey, buddy. Oh my gosh. I saw the E and my brain went shortcut, Everlong Mystic. Hi, Em. How are you doing? How art thou today? But yeah, it's almost like it introduces infinite resistance. And if lightning, energy, manifestations, actualizations take the path of least resistance to manifest into our reality, with that's an infinite resistance that cannot be overcome. And maybe it's like a burst pipe where it's like we keep calling in these manifestations of things that we're not actively in reception of. And so there's this pressure buildup and things just explode and go all kinds of crazy. And nothing is how no one wants it. And in a lot of ways, I'm sure it's intentional. Look, sanguineous blood. Good to see you too. Blah, blah, blah. I'm supposed to be packing. I have my boxes. I got boxes today. So. 2 weeks and counting, technically 13 and a half days, maybe 12 because today is over. But I feel like I don't have that much to pack. I'm kind of like getting more and more and more excited about like leaving, strangely. All right. Time for final cards. It's a new age. It's a new day. Sap of the moon plant. Succus lunarie. Number 61. Right? No, 41. Sorry, 41. Dot Rosa Mel Opibus. There's that dot again. DAT. But this one is backwards. It's written backwards, interestingly enough. Let's see. I would like mirror the screen, but that's too much work. Well, it may not be too much work. Let's see how much work it is. Because I think there's an option here. I thought there was an option here. No. If I like right click it. Oh, wait. Let's see if this works. No. I need a horizontal flip, not a vertical. Let's see. That did not work. See, I wish I could. No, it's fine. It's fine. There's the dot that was the void. It was DAAT, but still. Sap of the moon plant. Is that an eyeball in there? Let's read it because reading is what? Fundamental. This is nocturnal sacred water of the unconscious. Succus lunaria is an ancient substance said to be born of water, plant, and moonlight. This elixir okay. Let me catch my breath. Untwist my tongue. Try again. Succus lunaria is an ancient substance said to be born of water, plant, and moonlight. This elixir develops in the depth of night and is thus a metaphor for the wellspring of the unconscious. When this alchemical magic is afoot, it's all about dreams. The answers you are seeking will not come from the intellect nor the opinion of others. It will surface from the depths, as if rising from the ancient waters of your memory. The work is to rest, restore, and awaken your celestial senses. Do this by pausing, by releasing your grip. The sap of the moon plant signifies you are in the deep territory of destiny and the imagination. This is a mythic moment. The dream is waiting to show itself, but awaits your sincere invitation. Ask and rest, all will be revealed. Oh, let's read the margins. Sap of the moon plant is said to be linked to the pineal gland and can be increased by the practice of meditation. Sitting for a few moments in the evening is especially beneficial. There are many names for this sacred elixir: soma, nectar, aqua vitae, aqua nostra, and vinum ardens, to name a few. Remember, dreams are the mother tongue of humanity. This is also something I've been seeing a lot. Saw it in anime. Saw it in, I think, The Magicians. It's like magic and magical abilities are born from like the dreams of humanity. Like what people longed to be able to do, they became able to do. Bottom of the deck is Venus, Veneris, number 4. There she is. 4 and 41. Am I going to read Venus? No. You know Venus. Cool. Sap of the moon plant. Interesting. That was weird. For a split second, I almost smelled a rose. Cool. Now let's get this deck. 4 of Pentacles and the Magician. I like the 4 of Pentacles and the Magician. The 4 of Pentacles and the Magician signifies some kind of interplay. And it's a co-creative. It's even when we create by ourselves, for ourselves, between us and the divine or whatever, if we create into this world, into the earth, it's co-creative because it can affect others. Which, I don't know, maybe like different. It's not necessarily a balancing of resources because in the world of miracles, anything can happen. But it's just that it affects more than just us when we create, especially if it's something that takes up space. Not that space is limited, but again, because multiple people have the ability to interact with it, or because others interact with us as we have interacted with or interact with our creations, they're still brought in on that co-creative aspect. Let's say you manifest something that makes you super pleasant and wonderful anytime you interact with it. You manifest it, you interact with it, you're super pleasant and wonderful, and now everyone who comes in contact with you, they get the benefit of you receiving your manifestation. They're brought into it. It affects them because you're different around them. Or if there's something that you create that others have access to, it affects them. It's almost, I'm not going to say it's impossible. seems like it would be difficult to create something that doesn't affect or impact others, even extremely indirectly or marginally. Ooh, I see the Hermit. The Hermit is a tortoise. The Hermit and the Eight of Cups. Interesting. Obviously, the rose of the sap of the moonflower, whatever. Excuse me. Because the Hermit goes into those dark places, the Chariot is at the bottom of the deck. This is interesting. Because the Hermit goes into those dark places, it would be able to find it. But it's not just about going into the dark. It is, but it isn't. It's like all of our internal. What was ancient? Was that Lead? Was that Jupiter? The book is still here. Something mentioned like ancient pathways or something like that. Emerging from the darkness, shimmering with possibilities, is Jupiter. I didn't even catch that. Just like the sap of the moonflower. When the future is full and bright. So when this card appears, the future is full and bright, perhaps even dazzling. And of course, I gotta go back. The future is bright, perhaps even dazzling. Archmage of Wands. If any creature has dazzled and delighted him during their conversation, the king offers them a tome of leadership and influence. Jupiter came out in the beginning to offer a vision of the future, one that has never before been seen, experienced, or perhaps even offered. It will enhance, not only will it give you this insane charisma for 10 days, but it will also, with the tome of leadership and influence, it'll enhance your charisma to potentially superhuman levels, supernatural levels. To be able to be charismatic, not only to your fellow man or like base energies, but to also be charismatic to forces that are way beyond whatever. And it's all about this vision. I didn't even catch that. When this card appears, the future is full and bright, perhaps even dazzling. I guess it does say perhaps even dazzling. But if this Jupiter energy is dazzling enough, it'll grab the attention of the Archmage of Wands. And again, this is an energy that is kind of self-centric. It's capable of asking questions and asks questions, but it talks about itself a lot. But something mentioned something ancient. The work is to keep Jupiter's bigness in balance during the wave of expansion that's taken place, to keep Jupiter's bigness in balance. And again, it was that energy of being able to contain and one's body or bodies, energetic, emotional, intellectual, ethereal, physical, whatever, being able to work with that energy and not just internally combust. It wasn't this one. Was it that one again? Aches and pains are integrated, shadows are acknowledged and interwoven. When the reddening card appears, it signifies health, power, a climaxing of the work, a coalescing of what has been learned. The laboratory is no longer separate from the alchemist or from the work, but the three are now one. It is there the alchemist finds the sacred ingredients of power and kindness. It's more than just like love and light. It's more than just kindness or compassion or a soft heart. It's also power. What was it? What was the other card? Was it lead? What was lead? 20. Something mentioned something ancient. Something mentioned something ancient. Darn it. Didn't it? Did I not read it? And it wouldn't have been these things. I thought something mentioned something ancient. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But with this hermit, it's like we all have our own internal architecture. There's an entire architecture below the surface of us. And below the surface of our internal architecture is this like subterranean ancient architecture that connects all the way back to the all, to the divine, to whatever. This is a hermit that has gone into those places, the places beyond the self and our own disappointments, aches, pains. And it's easier to go that far into the self when the shadows have been integrated and the pain has been integrated and stuff like that has already been taken care of, because those are no longer obstacles. Well, they're not like things that we need to do. They're not more salient. They don't like, they're not so pressing and urgent and important that we like take care of them, that we have the freedom to explore different corridors within the self. If we go back far enough, it's possible for the hermit to return sap of that moon flower. Now, the hermit for me happens in two stages. The first stage is with the light of the Hierophant. The second stage is with our own internal light. When the hermit has our own internal light, it can go back to those passages and pathways. This chariot is so interesting to me because it's only one horse, and it's only a horse, but it has this crescent moon. I've usually seen this as the crescent moon on the head of the horse and then the sun above it, but this is feeling like an eclipse today for some reason. Or it's feeling like that new moon energy where the sun and the moon meet, where the conscious and subconscious meet. And again, when there's a lot of stuff that needs to be taken care of or addressed, it's almost like that takes priority and precedence over other things. And so when the subconscious and conscious meets, it's like those things are, it feels like when the conscious and subconscious are separate, in the subconscious, one thing isn't necessarily inherently denser than the other, but for some reason, when it aligns with the conscious, it's like things that we need to heal, hurts, pains, internal shadows, those things become a lot less dense, so they rise higher. It's like if we drop a bunch of metal into a cup of water, but it's all sort of like equally as heavy or dense. And then when the sun comes, when the conscious aligns with it, it's like a magnet. We put a magnet over the cup and it pulls up some of the metal, but not everything is magnetic. These ancient corridors, I'm not going to say they're not magnetic at all, but it feels like they're not as magnetic. Like their composition overall, they're not made of as much magnetic material as like some of the other things are. So those things come, like you get a lot more of that comes up to the surface. But when you filter all that stuff out, then when you dive down into the cup, you don't have this extra stuff to sort of like sift through. And one day you go spelunking and you come back with a drop of the sap of the moonflower. And then that informs the way that you navigate through the world has changed because of it. I don't know to what degree or how severe or in what way, but the way that you navigate is different. Even if you do all of the same things, even if your life externally doesn't change, it's because you now know something or because you've been exposed to something that you didn't know before, that you didn't have any exposure to before. And because this is a crescent moon on this chariot, from the outside, it may not necessarily be entirely like visible. Maybe people are like, oh, like you seem a little different. Like there's like a glow about you, or you're like, I don't know, you just feel different. Even though like you're not necessarily like doing anything different. You don't have to be doing anything any different. Interesting. Maybe you're getting through these deck dungeon challenges and getting all these tomes and boons and whatever else they want to gift you or grant you. Now this deck I have to split in half to put back into its box. Ooh, strength. I love a strength card where they're not like prying at each other. Is anything moving in this strength card? Yeah, she's like gently, the tail of the lion is like wagging and she's gently petting this lion's head. Oh, and then the nine of cups, the nine of chalices is over here. There's just like such a level of contentment. This feels like, oh, it's 8-9. LOL. It feels like it plays into that concentration versus focus. So with concentration versus focus, it's like it has a power that can bring movement and momentum, but it doesn't necessarily dictate. It's almost like it encourages more than dictates. Anything beyond that, it's like, it's hard to explain. Take it as it resonates. What does it mean for you? Because it's potentially different for all of us. How many months has it been since I got this deck? And I still don't have those card protectors. I don't know. Depending on where I go again, I don't know how active I'm going to be in the near future. I need to start packing. If I'm traveling and stuff, I may not necessarily have like cards or whatever. Doesn't mean that I won't pop up and be like, hey, this is something that I'm noticing a lot. But maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Who knows? All right, one more. Oh, interesting. I'm going to split this. We got 4 cards. I'll put the top and bottom on the left and then the 2 middle on the right. Oh, that was a near perfect split. I only had to shift 1 card. That was awesome. So these 2 go here. It's the 4 of Wands in the Tower. This is like The Wiz when Eveline is defeated. And they're like, can you feel the brand new day? Bottom of the deck is the Four of Chalices. So with the Tower and the Four of Wands, it came across as like a system that's crumbling because there is nothing to support it. Like when we stop fearing the boogeyman, then the boogeyman stops existing, because it was only our fear of the boogeyman that made it corporeal and gave it the power to interfere with our world. But with the Four of Cups, there's this like fear. What's that? Three of Wands revealing itself. Yeah. With the Four of Cups and what's under the Three of Wands, the Three of Chalices. With this Four of Chalices, it's like, it's almost like if we can't see anything else as possible, it's like being plugged into something, but not wanting to be, but not knowing what else to do. So you still like stay plugged into it. Patrick, what does that mean? It's almost like doing something because you don't believe that you have a choice, but not wanting to do it anymore. It's like when you clock out, or like you're burnt out, but you start going through the motions. That's what it is. Like, even if we're not actively fueling something, if our patterns and conditions and our behaviors, like we can support it with patterns, conditions, and behaviors, even though we're not invested in it anymore. Because either we don't know where else to put that energy, or because we don't know what else to do. That makes sense. Bottom of the deck over here is the Four of Swords, 444 apparently, Four of Wands, Four of Cups, Four of Swords. The only four we're missing is the Emperor, Death, and the Four of Pentacles. Or the Four of Pentacles, because minor arcana. This Four of Swords, this is to be under threat of the Three of Swords, but for your clarity, knowing, belief, to like make you immune to them. This is a Four of Swords that's capable of being vulnerable. This is someone that is able to put themselves in a position or in a situation that may lead to some kind of heartbreak, and like willingly choosing to do it. But it's this Ace of Swords that's resting that allows that person to be at rest. It's because of your belief and clarity and understanding of a certain kind of truth that is like your armor, or it creates like this force field. The two cards that came out are the Eight of Coins and the King of Chalices. So we don't get 4 coins, we get the doubled up, follow 8. And the King of Chalices, King of Cups. King of Cups upright. Okay, anyway. With this Eight of Coins. This is like, oh, he's like actively, we could see him like working on something. Like you can see him like chiseling. You can see him chiseling. Maybe. I can see him chiseling. But when I hold it up, I feel like I can't get it to like show it. There you go. Kind of. The hammer goes up and down. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you see it. It's just like it catches the glare right there. Whenever the chisel hits the hammer, you get the glare. Um, there's nothing new under the sun. The Archmage of Wands wants to see. No, the Acolyte of Wands, Page of Wands wanted to see something new. This is something that you've been working on. This is why you're invited to the table with the Archmage. That's what you're there to do. That's why you have an audience. The Acolyte of Wands, Page of Wands is like the preliminary whatever. It's like if you can get the interest of the Page of Wands, Acolyte of Wands, then the King of Wands knows that at least your idea is new, because it has to be a new game that they like, that they haven't played before. But it's like to waste your opportunity fangirling in front of the Archmage of Wands, King of Wands, instead of like pitching what you're there to pitch. Like whatever you're working on has caught the attention. Well, this is a different Archmage, but still has caught the attention of a king. It feels like this is a wisdom that's gained by whatever it is that you're working on, or it's a deeper insight into something that you have. Maybe it's because of what you've worked on or because of how you have worked on things. It's this wisdom that's connected to the Ace of Swords that allows you to be at peace in the presence of the three. Cool. So, 2.5 hours later, hopefully you don't see too much of me. And if you do, hopefully it's because I'm already packed. I feel like 2 weeks is a lot of time. I just got to make sure I'm actually doing stuff. That's the kicker. That's the real whatever right there. But I hope you all having an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path journey will you find. I hope that when you are presented with an opportunity to show your stuff, that you can do that and not fall into what you think you have to say, who you think you have to be, or what you think you have to do. Because if you being you was enough to get you an opportunity, you are what someone or something is looking for. You know, so, okay, girl, calm down. Maybe. Hold up, who's it? Oh, yeah, calm down. All right, and I'll catch y'all later. Thank y'all for stopping by. Goodbye. Yeah. And I guess also along these lines, because again, there was the energy of what something is intended for and what we intend to do with something. Maybe that's the staff of the Woodlands that the Queen of Coins presents. Maybe this whole thing, like, again, it's like almost like Shark Tank. There's an energy looking for someone who will bring something new to the forefront, and they are ready to invest because there are things that are intended to do whatever. But almost like that, the thread that was like, there's something that is being communicated to us through its applications rather than its abundance. Because if we were to be presented with the abundance, we may get distracted and focus on the money, but it's not about the money. The abundance is a symptom of whatever it is that we do. The abundance comes with the territory. It's not the focus. And if it's our focus, it'll be hard to, if like that's our focus, we may not necessarily be seen as the one who appreciates the feast or enjoys it or whatever. Because there are intentions behind some things. And it's like, do our intentions sort of align? And because there are some things that are intended for a certain whatever, if we are to acquire them and then to act outside of the way that it is intended to be used, it may introduce some kind of friction and we may lose something. Because that's when we begin to use something in a way that it was not intended. It's like if you use a battery from your laptop to power your car, that battery isn't intended for something as electrically demanding as a vehicle. Maybe if you were to put it in a TV or something like that, like, yeah, but that's like we put too much stress, or we overload, we put too much demand on the system and it crashes like super fast. And it's like, whoa, like, why is it like, that's not what it was intended for. So anyway, it's kind of something like that, somewhere like that. Or maybe it's just me and it's for me, and that's, it came to for me because that's what it's for me to focus on.